Hey bitches, welcome to episode 50 of Roll for Girl Dinner, where we let the dice answer the age-old question, what should we have for dinner? Today we'll be using these dice. These are my dice. I call them girl dice. Now let's get started with a roll for protein. 5, barbecue pork. Today we'll be using the barbecue pork that I get from Costco and, oh, that's awkward. Next up, let's roll for some cheese. 2, mozzarella. And this is still the random mozzarella from the sandwich bag in my fridge. Now it's time to roll for some vegetables. That's a very dramatic 1 for no vegetables and a 6 for sugar snap peas. This is a nice little snacky start. Moving on to the roll for carrier. 1. This is finger food now. Now let's roll for some Razzle Dazzle. That's going to be an 8 for Mama Lil's asparagus and a 17 for Mama Lil's green beans. Apparently we're having a Mama Lil's day. And you know what? You won't get any complaints from me about this. The flavor of both of these is just so good. The flavor of the asparagus is a little bit stronger than the green beans, so I tend to favor them a little bit more. But if you like pickled anything, these are just such a phenomenal snack, and they go with everything, every time in any girl dinner. Time to get saucy with the roll for sauce. 1. No sauce. The dice is really feeling those ones today. Now let's wrap this up with a roll for sparkling water. 2. Passion fruit. This blends in oddly well. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Whatever, love the flavor. And since it's Saturday, time to roll for a silly little beverage. 1. Water. Cool. Well, let's eat, bitches. First, let's get our la crrr poured, and of course the leftover coffee, and the water. Like, I get it, Dice. I'm dressed up as a character who is in high school, but I am not. I can have alcohol, even if she can't. And let's be real, she does anyway. But whatever, I'm properly hydrated. And, you know, I do feel a little bit weird about how well this barbecue pork matches me, but we're just gonna get past it because it tastes too good and who cares? So the barbecue pork, the cheese, and the pickled vegetables do make a nice little bite, but there's not really actually that much to talk about when it comes to this meal. It's a nice little snacky meal. It's good. It is what it is. What there is a lot to talk about, on the other hand, is my disappointment at the Halloween party that I went to immediately after filming this. I went to a gamers party, that's Gaymers, who I would have expected to recognize this costume. Only one person did. Only one. Just one. Do better, gamer boys. And it's not even like I was there alone. There was context. And if you're sitting there like, Kendra, that's not enough context. I still don't know what you're talking about. Go straight to watching Dimension 20 right now. Don't even finish this episode. Go. And then come back and thank me later. And of course, we come to the point in the episode where I ask myself, if I were playing a character who would rate this girl dinner a perfect 10, who would I be? Allow me to introduce Vilmira Cassandra, a hermit who lived deep in the woods, not out of any particular religious belief, but just because most people didn't tend to shut the fuck up, and a house deep in the woods was the best defense to not having to be social. Much to her chagrin, however, a necromancer completely randomly moved in nearby. You'd think in a big whole woods he'd find somewhere else a little further away, but no. The necromancer generally kept to himself, but she was constantly having to deal with the fallout from his failed experiments. She asked him on several occasions to be more mindful of the impact of his experimenting, but he wasn't the most conscientious of wizards, or the most skillful. Oh, and he was also evil, so he completely ignored her. Fed up after the necromancer's zombie bees somehow turned all the flowers in her garden into zombies, she turned to her family's ancestral patron deity, the god of life. Oddly, her prayers were answered, but not by the deity of life, instead by the deity of the grave, who had become equally annoyed with that damn wizard for all the havoc and paperwork he was causing her. She called on Vilmira to become her cleric and to stop the necromancer from defiling the dead. So, with her newly gifted cleric abilities, she was able to defeat the necromancer, but was not yet experienced with such power and overshot a little bit and, well, destroyed both their homes in the process. So, in penitence for the destruction, she built a temple to the deity of death at the site of the destruction and then set out on the road, finding adventure and rooting out evil necromancers. If I were her, I would rate this meal a perfect 10. As it is, I, Kendra, give it an 8.
This is my meal. I call this girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl